Ooh, wrong key. F sharp minor, that's better. How you guys doing? I invite you to tune in here as I'll be jamming away and practicing, and we can speak about whatever you feel like. And hopefully I'll get things right this time. We'll see. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna open the comments window. There's always something I'm missing. Docs, chat. There we go. Oh yeah, I like it. Hey there, Vipin from India. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. Let's see if I can not bump into the laptop every time I move. I think levels are a little bit low. I'm just gonna raise that. Fred, how you doing, man? And there's a flag I don't recognize. You gotta help me out. Please tell me how effectively put fingers to get proper notes on the guitar. Very cool, very cool. There we go. So how do you put the fingers down on the guitar to produce notes? And that's actually a pretty good question, because the guitar is a very difficult instrument just to produce your first note compared to, say, a piano where you just need to push a key. So the way to do it is to first of all realize that you got a fret close to the fret wire. So if you're playing on the 5th fret, that means you're gonna play right next to this fret wire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right next to the 5th fret wire. That's gonna be the ultimate place where you can get a good ringing note. Now, a lot of beginners will push like in a crampy way, so do experiment with your thumb's position to make sure you got like a relaxed posture and doesn't feel extremely awkward. It's gonna feel awkward in the beginning, but there are limits to the awkwardness. And then once you've done that, you gotta make sure you're hitting the right string with your right hand. So all of those things need to come together just to produce one note. Now, as you get more advanced, you can produce notes without the right hand. But that's definitely not something if you're just starting out trying to figure things out. So you might be asking yourself, well, if it's so difficult to just produce a single freaking note, why would I want to play the guitar? Well, the advantage is once you learn to produce those notes, playing the notes in an original way is going to be so much easier than on the piano, let's say. So once again, piano, easy to play your first note, hard to sound original, right? On the guitar, very difficult to play your first note, but once you can play a few notes, it gets much easier to play something like that, which you could never do on the piano. So, pros and cons, but since this is our instrument, we just have to adapt. Mohammed from Australia. Okay, so let's try some more here. Gotta be careful with those. Thank you, Bull. Sorry, don't know money for nothing. Tapo, yes, that's true. The channel is growing very fast thanks to all these shorts that you guys seem to appreciate a lot. So very happy and proud about that. So thanks so much for the support. It would never have been possible without you guys. So thank you so much. Very cool, Tapo. So how long have you been following me? I need to work on that. So let's do that a little bit slower. Yeah, so I'm not too good at tapping, so whenever I attempt it, I should warm up first, which I really haven't done. Cool tempo, that's cool. Sorry, mate. So I get a lot of requests about famous songs, and I don't play any famous songs. I have lost the interest long ago. I just play the guitar, and if anybody wants to tune in, I'm happy. Otherwise, I'll just play my guitar. I'm not really into the rock and roll thing where you gotta play someone else's song and whatever. I just play the guitar because I love to. It's just an instrument. Not the musical instruments, just an instrument in general to do fun stuff. I don't think anymore about playing any riff or licks. I just try to get into the groove and have fun with my guitar. So I'm really sorry I can't play any requests. I wish I could, but I really have very little interest in it. So let's warm up our picking chops, and maybe we can do a little bit of shredding. So let's just do slowly. I mess up. Very good point there, Goose Frababa. I played a lot of cover songs when I started out, like 30 years ago, and I'm definitely inspired by a lot of other musicians, guitarists, but I can't play any songs, you know. To learn a song, you gotta sit down and learn it, and especially if you haven't done that in a long time, it's difficult, right? So if you do cover songs, play in a cover band, then you know 1,000 songs, and it's easy to learn another one. I don't do that. So again, I wish I could, but it would be so easy for me to just play everybody's request, but I don't know any songs anymore. Sorry. So what I do know, or I don't think I'm good at it, but I love doing it, is improvising, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm not playing anybody else's. I'm just thinking, oh, I would like a melody to be here. What comes after that? Maybe a build-up. And then maybe a melody high up there. And that's the stuff that intrigues me, Playing some riff, it's a great way to start out, but when you've been playing for 30 years, you gotta find the stuff you like doing. There's no point in playing what someone else wants you to, because then you're just gonna put the instrument down. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. So yeah, I haven't played this guitar for a long time, and I haven't played this sound for a very long time. Part of it is due to the fact that I've had my amp being repaired for many months, sent it overseas to the US. I'm in Sweden. But now finally I have it back. It's a Mesa Boogie Mark V, and I can use a juicy Mark I channel, voicing on the overdrive channel. And it's a very special sound that isn't really good for cutting through, but it's amazing for like creamy leads. Jana, what's up? So let's see here. Try something else. This one maybe? I uploaded 2 weeks ago or something. Oh, D minor. Well, I mean, about strings breaking, I think you have best options of best chance of not having your strings break in the beginning, unless you get like a bad string or something. But I don't think that's very common. So I mean, don't be worried about bending because that's one of the main things on the guitar, that we can bend the notes and we can do stuff that piano players cannot do, as I was speaking about in the beginning. So if you just play the guitar without bending, you might as well be playing a keyboard or something, you know? It's really so you really want to do that, and don't be scared if you break a string here and there. I think it's a bit of a maintenance cost that we have to keep up with. It's a bit like fuel for a car, you know? If you got a car, you gotta somehow, you know, fuel it or charge it or something. The same thing with the guitar. You gotta, you know, maybe have some extra strings. It's hard not to. So on this track, I'm going between D minor and D major. So D minor first. Oh, I was a bit late there, but now it's D major. Soon we're going back to minor. Listen to this. Back to D minor, right? Cool, so I think there was, I used to have, I'm just gonna go into my channel now, or no, wait. I'll just go into my own live video. That's fun. And I'm gonna click that link. There should be a link. Yeah, find them all here. Yes, okay. So I have some old backing tracks that I haven't played for a very long time. So let's try this one. So this one modulates. First A minor. Then C minor. And then C, D sharp, or E flat. Finally F sharp minor. So I'm changing key there like 4 times, I think. A minor. Then C minor. Now E flat minor. F sharp minor. Oops. C minor. Okay, and finally F sharp minor. Back to A minor now. Prepare for C minor. Prepare for E flat minor. Prepare for F sharp minor. Back to A minor. C minor. E flat minor. Prepare for F sharp minor. Back to A minor. Okay, so now one thing I was doing there, which isn't really something I would recommend, and that's I was having a bit of an issue or problem just playing a coherent melody. I was constantly, like switching positions and speaking to you guys and just doing stuff that didn't make it sound that coherent. And this kind of thing really sounds better if you can convincingly just playing one position, play a melody that keeps on going even though there are these really aggressive modulations or changing happening in the background. Vpin, I'm not playing others. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to play other people's songs, and if I could, I'm sure I would get copyright strikes as well. So let's try one more time, and now I'm gonna work a little bit harder on playing in one position. And I'm really bad at this, so it's gonna be a challenge. But this is what jazz musicians and fusion dudes are comfortable with. I'm not. I'm a retarded rock and roller. Laughing at my own jokes. That's also pretty retarded, don't you think? Okay. Still just one position. It's a little bit better. And I messed up. F sharp minor. Back to A minor now. Oh, come on. Not spam. You're forcing me to do other things than to play guitar. And I can't even ban you here in the OBS. Damn it. Life of an internet guitarist. man, that's, you really want to sell something. Is that what you want to do? Okay. You'd think YouTube could figure out how to ban this automatically, but no. You want to sell something. Is that what you want to do? Okay, let's try it now. There we go. Goodbye. I love you. Oh man, this is funny. Okay, so let's try one more time now, without any spam. Let's do interruption. That's pretty aggressive. Let's do some more now. One position. Let's not change position. A minor. No, C minor. E flat minor. Soon F sharp minor. Back to A minor. Yes, this is an Ibanez RG652. Soon E flat minor. Soon F sharp minor. Soon back to A minor. Soon C minor. Joseph, how you doing, mate? Yeah, this is tricky. So, you know, with this kind of playing, you really have to be using your brain all the time. And you know how it is with us alpha males. We have no ability to think of two things at the same time. So I messed up. I'm not even gonna blame it on that. I'm just too crappy at soloing over this stuff. So that's why I'm gonna check out another really old backing track that I uploaded a long time ago. And this one sticks to a specific key, which is great. Ooh, this is a nice one. Bro from Nirvana, I like it. So D minor. This is one of my favorite backing tracks, I think. Just see if we can find a sound that works with it. Maybe some wah-wah. Sorry to hear that, bro from Nirvana. You're not doing well. Is this something you want to share with us? When did I? Oh, I uploaded this one 8 years ago. That's crazy, man. Okay, so here's the other one. Slow groove metal backtrack in C minor. think I failed a little bit with the bass in the mix here, but hopefully still groovy. Haley, what's up? Nguyen, what's up? You like it very much. Thank you so much, man. I don't know, is this a little bit crappy? Let's try it. It's very experimental. Cool, Ariel, you got the same guitar with a different color. I love this one, it's awesome. Where are you? So Stockholm, Sweden here. I'm guessing we're on two different sides of the planet. Well, I guess this was okay. Okay, so let's try this, D minor. So again, these are super old backing tracks. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think the ideas are okay, but could have maybe sounded a little bit better. I got a bend in tune. George, how many years needs sweep picking? So that depends how many years you've already practiced. If you're completely new to the guitar, you're looking at a couple of intense years to be able to master sweep picking for sure. Oops. D minor, nothing else. Let's try another one here. Electronic backing track. B minor. That bass. Lots of reverb on the bass going on. Oh, I guess this is fun. So experimental. E minor. This was fun, actually. Wrong key, E minor. Thank you, Devandra, for Carlos Santana. That's an awesome comparison, man. Thank you. Metallica over this. That'll be hard to fit in. Okay, so I think I'm gonna switch guitars. Just a second. So here's one I haven't tried in a while. Let's see. Gotta plug it in as well. Keep forgetting that. Master of Puppet. So the answer is probably no. I'm crap at that. So let's try. Where was I? I think I got a tune as well. It's kind of important. Just wishful thinking. Pick the guitar down after a week and hope that'll be in tune. I gotta nail those bends. So another guitar switch. I'm experimenting a little bit here, but the reason is I haven't played with a high gain sound for quite some time, or this type of high gain, like super low end juicies. Again, because I had the amp repaired for several months. So now I feel like testing some sounds there. So I'm gonna make just one more guitar switch, and hopefully I'll land. Nguyen, very cool idol. Thank you so much, man. So let's see here. Okay. Now I'm gonna tune first before I play. What do you think? Is it a good plan? This one I played more recently, so should have slightly better tuning, but you never know. That freaking G string is never really incorporating. Okay, so now let's So this is a more recent backing track, and I'm happy to hear that. I think sound is a little bit better now. D minor. Sorry, delay was off. My bending is off today. I'm not really finding the vibe here. So let's search some more. I think I actually prefer the one I started out with, because that's the guitar I dialed in the sound for, and it's always like that. In your signal chain, everything matters. So if you change the starting point, you're gonna have to start changing other things as well, and I haven't done that. Hello there, Mr. Slavic username. Okay, D minor. The bending was easier. I don't know why. Well, not that easy. Elif, what's up, my man? Elif from Turkey. It's another country I've never been to. Riffraff, this is an MH1000. And I think it's MH1000 NT, which stands for no tremolo. Thanks, Riffraff. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's one of those guitars where they spend some extra time with the binding and stuff. I don't have any other guitar where there's binding around with this kind of pearl inlay. It's fun. It's also good if you're recording short videos and you want it to look kind of good on screen. Let's try the Telecaster as well. Oh no, where is it? So this is a true single coil guitar, and I haven't played one in this session yet. And I think the setup is going to behave a little bit different with true single coils. Blah, I can't speak today. So let's see. Well, for one, it's noisier, right? But I can alleviate that if I go with an in-between position. G minor. Well, to be honest with you, there's a reason why you often see me play this guitar and you see me play single coil guitars. I love the sound of single coils. So I get a lot of question about the scalloping on this guitar, and I think what I'm playing now is a very good. Oh, come on, you can do this. Come on. You can do this. So I think what I'm playing now is a good example of why scallops are useful, because a lot of examples you see me play just chords, and you don't really need the scallop for that. But for this, it's awesome. It feels like walking in the air. There's no resistance when bending. no resistance coming from friction with the tips touching the wood. Whereas, for the legato stuff, it's also very special feeling. Well, it's a feeling reminiscent of really tall fret wire, if you've ever tried that. Guyot, welcome to the channel, man. Happy to have you. I wish I could play. Come on. So Guyot, no, I scalloped this myself. I have one scallop made by a luthier, but I think kind of the point with a scallop is that you can do it by yourself. So if the guitar, if you know you're never going to want to sell a guitar, or if it has low value, you can actually scallop it to get this special feel. And also, the scallop I've made here is very rare, and I think I would have had problems explaining this to the luthier, because I really just want a deep area exactly where you would fret the notes. And you know, it can be a little bit tricky to ask for something weird from a luthier, because they're going to be afraid you're not happy with the result, and you know, you're going to have that weird looking guitar and you're going to blame them. So I don't think a luthier would ever do this, actually. At least not a sane luthier. So today is definitely a bad bending day. I think I'm gonna have to work a bit on my bending. Manuzzo, how you doing, man? Bobby Blue, yes, these are interesting half scallops. So the pickups are bare knuckle country boy, so they're very low output pickups, and I like low output pickups where you have a big dynamic range. It might make playing a little bit harder, but you know, you can always throw a compressor or a booster in the chain. That's not a problem if you want to go for that sound. But I really like having well, this is a very compressed sound, but it still affects, you know, the tones you get from changing the picking attack. And yes, the scallop, here we go. I realize this one is raising a lot of eyebrows, but to me it makes sense to only scallop where you need it, because you don't want to remove too much wood. And if you're striving to fret on, you know, on the exact location next to the fret wire, that's where you want to scallop, not anywhere else. And I don't really mind if they look, you know, not symmetrical or not, you know, round enough. Who cares? I mean, it's good for business. People comment, so I can live with that. No problem, Bobby. Do you come right here from watching a short of mine, or how did you find the stream? Usman, favorite pickup configuration? It's a good question. I don't think I have a favorite pickup converter. That's a tricky one. Well, I love this. I mean, the Telecaster is so flexible, but I also love the, you know, just standard single coils in a Strat. I mean, all the positions, the two in between positions, and the bridge and neck. I mean, it's so hard to say. People also ask me what my favorite song is. There's a million of them. I can't say. But I also love just having two humbuckers like a Les Paul setup. But I'm a mood kind of guy, so if I'm not in the mood for Les Paul sound, I'm not gonna like it. But if you ask me a day when I'm in the mood, I'm gonna say I love it. Today is probably Telecaster day, even though I started out with Ibanez and humbuckers. And generally, I've been playing this guitar a lot recently. It's my favorite guitar right now, and there's much to love about it. But I also love the pickup combination. So again, Country Boy, and it's a classic Tele combination, I think. Except I have a 5-way switch here, and typically you would have a 3-way switch. And the 5-way switch gives me these two phase canceling and standard parallel mode, and then series, and finally just the neck, so we can hear how it sounds. Ooh, thanks, man. You like my way of speaking. That means a lot. I should do more spoken videos. I don't do enough of them. So, bridge here. Oops, go back. Well, let's just skip. And then here are the phase canceling thing. And here is in parallel both. Very different from just the bridge. Together. Much more compressed. And finally we have these two in, I think it's series. It's even more wider, even more pushed and compressed. Mr. Shortsman, we can have a look at the frets in just a second. So finally we have the bridge pickup. That's bluesy, you gotta love this. I mean, so yeah, this guitar right now, I'm loving it. I also love the fact that there's no floating bridge on it. I have a couple of guitars with, that's okay, I like that, but it's just such a hassle whenever you want to experiment with the guitar. This guitar is really lightweight, and it has classic like brass Telecaster bridge, But these are, you can actually somewhat fine-tune the intonation on them, so they're very cool. Intonation works on this guitar. And of course, I scalloped it, which brings me to the close-up I promised. So, oh wait, come on. Oh, it doesn't want to give me the close-up right now. You can do this, guitar. You can do this. You could do it before, but not now for some reason. Oh, there we go. So, here is the close-up. And I don't know what the question was. The frets are so weird. Okay, so this is called scalloping, but even people who know what a scalloped fretboard is think this one is weird because I haven't done it evenly. I've only scalloped the part where I fret, period. And that's because you don't want to remove more wood than necessary. Connor, would you recommend this over standard American Telecaster? That's a cool question. I've never had a standard American Telecaster, and I would love to have one, actually. I don't know. I got these because it seemed to be a very good deal on like a Japanese guitar made in the Fujigen factory. Just to remind you, this is where the Japanese Fenders are made, and they have a very good reputation. So I bought this like 10 years ago, and I got a good deal on new and Thomann. And as soon as I got it, I know it was a good guitar, but I realized that the frets were not my thing. They were vintage and very low. So I didn't like that about this guitar, but everything else was pretty good. I could feel it was lightweight and the sound was really good. So I ended up scalloping it after many years of playing it the way it was. And I always loved playing it, or I loved it, but I didn't like the feel of playing it. When I finally got the courage together after more than, well, I would say like 8 years or something. 8 years of owning this guitar, finally got the courage to scallop it, and now it's a dream guitar. But you can't say that on the internet because people go crazy. That's the way it is. Saludos desde Argentina. What's up? ¿Cómo está? What are the pros and cons of scalloping? Well, the cons are that you're removing wood that you can never put back. But if the scallop is done good, then usually a scallop neck you'll get the money back. At least if you're just selling the neck. I don't know how it is with the whole guitar, but usually scalloping it's a rare thing, and people are looking for good scallops. It's a hard thing to get. I don't like selling instruments. I've done it a few times, but if I sell an instrument that I've played a lot, it feels a little bit like selling a family member. It's horrible, I know. So I really don't hope I will ever have to sell this guitar, and I'm not that sure it will. Or maybe, depends a little bit. I guess it would be easier to sell a scalloped Strat because you would get the Ingve fans. A scalloped Telecaster is more unusual, but who knows? But I really don't hope I'm gonna sell this guitar. Now the pros are the feel. It's awesome to play. It's like having amazing high jumbo frets. You do not touch the wood with your fingertips, so there's no friction happening when you're bending and doing that kind of thing. It's really cool. And for legato, you don't have to be quite as precise. So even if you should hit the fret a little bit bad or with not the perfect part of your fingertip, scalloping can compensate a little bit for that. But I mean, to me, this guitar, these were vintage frets. They were not made for soloing at all, just your chord thing. So all of a sudden it became playable. So of course I could have just replaced the frets, which were perfectly good. They were not worn down. They were just too low. So I would have to pay maybe the equivalent or $300 or $400 to refret a perfectly fine fretted guitar. And this has like a circular patented fretting technology as well. So I really didn't want to do that. I just wanted to scallop it, so I did it. But a lot of people ask me, oh, you can't slide with it. And it has absolutely no connection with sliding. I mean, sure, if you have completely super low frets, maybe sliding is gonna feel a little bit more comfortable. But when you slide, it's not like you're sliding on the wood of the, the fretboard. You're sliding on the string, which rests on the fret wire. So it really doesn't matter if you removed some wood beneath that. Scalloping is a playability thing. It can actually make your guitar sound a little bit thinner. So that's why you don't want to remove too much wood. Especially this guitar, I love the sound, so I was pretty scared of ruining the sound, but I didn't remove a whole lot of wood. I think whatever effect it had, it was minimal. But I mean, it can theoretically definitely make your sound a little bit thinner. There's less wood resonating. I don't know if you've ever lick some. There's a bit of Swedish right there. But I don't know if you've played a super heavy Les Paul and you know that when there's a lot of wood, it sounds bigger, right? So if you remove a lot of wood, it's going to sound less big, but such a small amount. No, but it's definitely a playability thing. It's all about playability. Just if you don't understand it, you can Google for, why would you have jumbo frets or something? Google for jumbo frets, pros and cons. It's the same thing as having really tall frets wire. Go-to licks. Let's do it, Chase. Cool. So the wiring is pretty standard. You can search for like 5-way switch Telecaster and you're gonna find the wiring. It's super common to have the phase out of phase mode. So I think this is a pretty common hack. So Chase, definitely show you a bit more than just playing. So I'm using D minor now, and a lot of times I'm gonna play D minor pentatonic for the rock licks. And I'm gonna play D minor or D Aeolian for the 3-note per string legato or Yngwie, whatever you wanna call them, the faster licks. Ouch. But that stuff doesn't really matter. What matters in the end is what you can do with the scale, right? So you gotta learn licks, phrases, and patterns. And that's of course why I'm uploading like 3 to 10 shorts per day to give you content so you can use in your playing, whether it be, when playing rhythm or playing lead. But one of my favorite little things to do is what I call like the bouncy phrasing, something like this. And a lot of those licks are, it's just a few notes, right? Just 3 notes, and it's how you play them. So here I'm just doing, it's the 10th fret G string, 12th fret D string, and then 10th fret D string. However, playing those 3 notes, most likely you're not gonna sound like this. So that's when you get down to all the different techniques used to play something. So I'm using hybrid picking, so I'm using the right hand. And I use the right hand finger. And I use that in combination with legato. So I like to call it hybrid legato. It sounds very special when you're using hybrid picking and then you're doing that kind of thing, okay? But more than that, I'm also doing hammer-ons from nowhere. So in other words, I'm hitting the strings with my left hand. That's how I get that staccato effect. That That's because I'm also hitting the strings hard with my left hand. So there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes to produce different sounds. And the different sounds are what makes different licks sound cool. And that's why on this channel, I try to just focus on all those little details and give you like one example lick per technique that I'm showing you, right? So if you're having problems connecting everything, then what I've set up to now is to no use for you. This is just like a deep dive into one thing I like to do, and it's a pretty complex and advanced thing. So what really matters is how you practice lead, because your question is about connecting the different boxes and scales when playing lead guitar. And I've seen this a million times. Basically, students will memorize scales. They will find a few patterns, go up and down those scales, and they'll play them a whole bunch of times and feels like it's working out great. But then they just hit this brick wall. It's like, okay, I can play it up and down. What happens next? And fast forward 2 months, and turns out they've actually forgotten all those boxes. Time to solo, and they've forgotten everything. So it's like, and then I get the question, how do you memorize all this stuff? You know, so if memorizing where the dots are on the fretboard, if that's a problem to you, then it means you haven't practiced those boxes and scales the right way. Because if you struggle to learn a really cool lick inside one of those boxes, you're going to have to play it so many times, it's going to be engraved in your muscle memory. And that's what I've done with every little time I move around the fretboard. It's a combination of some runs that I've practiced a lot. I've practiced licks that move across positions. And since that requires an insane amount of practice, memorizing where the scale boxes are is going to be the least of your problems. In fact, a lot of these scale boxes, like I said, they're in my muscle memory. Because mastering the different phrases, licks, and patterns takes such a long time and so much practicing, you end up just feeling where the boxes are eventually, because you're going to have to practice them so much, you know? Maybe, I don't know. Something, bad example, but the thing is, so when you've done that a lot of times, then you have a bunch of examples of how you can go between the boxes. Then you start changing a note here and there. You start coming up with variations. And if you fast forward a couple of years with that kind of practicing, you're no longer bound to the original phrases that kind of made you break out of the box. So that's why, you know, after almost 30 years of playing, I no longer think in terms of playing a lick when I move, like whatever, and I don't struggle memorizing the boxes. It's like super, for my brain, it's like super common pathways that you've walked them so many times, you know them by heart, and your fingers know them, and instead you can focus your energy and your brain power on breaking the habit to make it sound a little bit different, you know? So that's where I'm at after decades of practicing. But I do realize if you're just starting out, that's not where you're gonna be. So again, what you need are example licks, phrases, and patterns that you can play within those scale boxes. That's how you connect them naturally, and that's how you can actually sound good and not just playing a scale up and down. And that's how memorizing the patterns or scale boxes is no longer going to be a problem. Whew, that was tricky for my Swedish rock and roll brain. I hope it makes sense. Okay, Bobby Blue. So that's an interesting question. If I have a 21 fret scallop, could you bend the highest string? Well, you can do that even without a scallop, right? This is only 21, and you have the next note there. It doesn't matter if you scallop or not. But what a lot of people seem to think about scalloping is that because there's a lot of space under the string, you can somehow push the string really hard and get bending that way. And while it is true that if you apply excessive tension, you can make it go out of tune, and that's a bad thing. But you know what is even a worse thing? The fact that you're applying excessive tension. That's extremely bad technique. It's going to limit you in every way. So if a scallop guitar makes you realize there's something wrong with your tension, then that's also a positive side with scalloping. So you cannot bend through pushing or through fretting. That's, or at least I haven't heard about anybody who actively does that. Well, Bobby Blue, maybe I don't understand your question, but it doesn't matter if you have a scallop or not scallop. You can always bend the 21st fret up to the 22nd sound as if you had a 22nd fret. I think scalloping changes much less than you think. It's just like replacing the fret wires with a bit taller fret wire. That's all it does. And it removes a little bit of wood, but it doesn't change anything about the way you play or anything like that. Just it's a playability improvement if you have fret wire that is worn down or that is vintage and super low. That's all there is to it. Cool, Chase. Go ahead and practice that way. Good luck, man. So Bobby, no, you don't get semitones. You could maybe get like a quarter note, or not a semitone, quarter to whatever, you know, what they have in more exotic instruments. And that's the kind of thing that makes you sound out of tune. If you had maybe like you had nylon strings, it would be a little bit easier to push the string down. But again, I haven't heard of anybody who actively practices that. It doesn't really make sense, I think, when you can just bend normally. I think what you've heard are people warning you that if you apply excessive tension, you can make the string go out in tune. And that's true. But I haven't heard about anybody who uses that thing to their advantage. Freedom Grower, cheers to you, man. So I don't play any favorite songs. Sorry, man. All I do is play my own riffs and improvisations. I know it's extremely disappointing, but maybe after 30 years, you're also going to be tired of playing other people's material, and you want to play your own material. And since I I've reverted to not writing things but improvising. That's the only way I get a kick by playing these days. Sometimes I write a backing track like this one, but yeah. Cool, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a very fun session. I really appreciate all the cool comments and questions we got going, because that really, I think, brings these live streams forward. It's much more fun to discuss the things you actually want to know about rather than me just sitting here talking. So, and again, I apologize for not playing all these cover songs. I wish I was better at that. But very cool conversations here about guitars and scalloping and electronics and all that stuff. I hope we're going to do more of that. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. You've been fantastic. And I've been Christopher Dahl. See ya. Cheers.